Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So I got another Meatloaf going here, and so in this episode we're getting a couple of new roommates in here, and I don't know if you guys remember back when you had first moved out of the house and you had your first roommates, and this was a challenging time. So they take up space, they have all their own junk, and they cook funny things, and they leave dishes in the sink. Well, we got a couple new roommates here, and we had to make some space for them and get them in and get them settled. So you guys will get to meet them. We got some viewer appreciation gifts, and one of them is to help with a practical problem that we're having here with the videography. So we'll do some tests with that and see how that works out, and then we'll see what else we got. So let's get an apron on and let's go meet the roommates. Okay, so first one here, this comes for us from Mike Powell, and Mike is he's an industrial arts teacher, machine restorer, car builder, and he's emailed me several times. I seem to remember this. Anyway, he likes the videos, and he wanted to, he was working on this for a while, but Tom beat him to it, and with the other plasma cut sign. So anyway, he followed up with his, which is pretty nice. I like this one. And it's all one color, but it's still it's very, very cool. I don't know, it's like 10 gauge plate or something like that. You know, these guys are just, you know, grabbing these images off of the web and then rendering them in their software and then cutting them out, and it comes out pretty good, I think. So Mike, I really appreciate this. This is really nice, and we're gonna find a spot in the shop. He says to hang it in the closet, but I don't have any closets, so I'll have to find a place to put it. So anyway, that's very nice. He also sent some, let me just grab one of these here. He sent a bunch of taper shank drills here, and so I don't need to show them all to you because they're all the same size. So some friend of his got, I don't know, a 55-gallon drum of these things or something, and they're all the same size, or they got donated or something, and they're all the, you know what? Of course, I pick one that the crud doesn't want to come off. So they still got the tool protector on them there. Now, what's interesting about these is they're carbide tipped. So, Mike, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but they're carbide tipped, and they also have a carbide wear band here on the side. So this was, you know, these are custom-made drills for some kind of production job, and there you can kind of see the carbide there, and it's got a pretty good grind on it. Feels pretty good. They're 35/64, which is kind of a goofy size. So I don't know what they were doing, and they're Morse tapers, so these have been around for a while. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see if we can put these to use. Maybe some, you know, this would be good for pilot holes in tough material in the lathe, and you know, with these carbide tips, they'll pretty much cut through anything that you can throw at them. So anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate the appreciate the sign, and appreciate the drills. This is very cool. Okay, so the next one here comes to us from Andrew Lastumo, and he's out in Illinois. And Andrew is he's a movie grip, so I guess he does work on movie sets and stuff like that. So he's familiar with some of the tricks and tips and tricks that movie grips use to reduce glare and unwanted reflections when they're filming movies. So, you know, I've been struggling with these these dial indicator faces, you know, that we try to show on camera, and you know, we got a lot of light in the shop, and it's coming from a lot of different angles, so it's difficult to shield for these the glare on the dial. Anyway, Andrew sent me these, hoping that these would help me out with my exposure problems, because you can, you know, put these in the way of between the light and the camera, to help block out glare and reflections. Now this is a neutral density filter here, and this is a thing called a duvetine, which is kind of like, it's like a black velvet material, but you know, no light goes through it. So, but nothing. It's got a slight texture to it, so nothing really reflects off of it, which is kind of neat. So anyway, we're going to do some. We're going to go over to the lathe and do a little some exposure experiments over there. I'll show you the setup. I'll show you the situation, all the light that comes in here, and then the lights that I have above the lathe for us blind guys, so we can see. And then we'll do some experiments with these dots and what's he call them? Dots and fingers. They're called fingers. Yeah, I could never remember the name there. Anyway, so dots, fingers. Okay. So anyway, we'll go try those on the lathe and see how that goes. So let's go do that. Okay. So I just wanted to show my lighting situation here over the lathe. I've been fighting some glare on the indicator faces here, so that you guys can see this stuff. So we got overhead fluorescent light. These are 6,500 Kelvin lights here, which is natural daylight. Then we got two windows here that sunlight comes through. Now I don't know, it's 10 o'clock in the morning right now, so we're not getting the afternoon sun coming through there. Now these windows have been coated with kind of a gel thing, so they're slightly obscured, so it's not super harsh sunlight coming through there, although it's a large amount of light. Okay, and then the other, so now I have more daylight fluorescence here directly over the lathe, and then I have my spotlight here, you know, for us old guys that can't see anything. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the camera over, and I'm going to mount it on my arm here, and we'll look down at this indicator here, and we're going to try some of these dots and strips or whatever. I can't quite remember. Anyway, these things. Okay, and we'll take a look at that and see how that works. Okay, so we're mounted up on the lathe now, and we've got this light going here, all right, and it's pointed right at the work down here. The fluorescent light straight above is on, and you can see that this is completely blown out here. So what I'm going to try here is we've got these are these neutral density filters here that you can put to block light. Now I'm fishing this over the top here, and you can see the shadow down below here, right? And I'm trying to block some of this incident light here that's coming down, and I'm really not getting any effect. I think there's too much light coming in from many different angles. Now if I put it down really low or right over it, you can kind of see the dial there actually when I do that. Now I can stop it down a little bit too. We can try that. I can't do it while the video's running, so I may stop it or stop the video and then stop it down a couple of stops exposure wise to take a look at it. So let's try, let me get the solid ones here. Let's try that, and you know, basically we're just trying to create a shadow here. All right, I'm gonna get this one. Oops, I'm gonna get this one out of the way here. Of course, my magnet just popped off. Get that one out of the way, out of the mix here, and then I'm just fishing this around, trying to find a place. Okay, so there you can see it's picking it up now, but I'm right on top of this. Okay, so this is not a practical solution right now, that close anyway. So as I come up, you know, I have light bouncing off of these white walls in here, and it's just lots of light. Okay, all right. So there, I'm getting a little bit of help. Yeah, maybe what I need is I need a tube that points right at the camera, right? That you know what? That's not that dumb of an idea, but. Anyway, so there's, you know, I'm fishing this thing around a little bit, and see, getting multiples in here. So that, you know, that's basically shielded, right? Maybe a problem on this side. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to lock the exposure, and I'm going to notch it down a couple of notches, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so this is the same scene, and it's grabbing these dots again here, and I stopped it down 2 clicks, okay, and my little double boost light is out of the equation here. So I'm up high now, down low. So I'm basically moving around this thing 360, trying to find a spot here. Okay, I'm not finding any practical spot here that works other than basically right on top of this here. I think I just have an abundance of light. I don't know. So anybody got any suggestions there that I can try here? I'm all ears. You know, these indicators are pretty tough. So if I stop it down much more, then the rest of the scene gets pretty dark here. But let's try 2 more clicks down and see how that looks. Okay, so that's 2 more clicks down. And you can see that this scene is getting darker, but not too bad here. Okay, there we're getting a little effect from that direction. So some of this is maybe from this light bouncing off of the wall. So one last thing I'm going to try is I'm going to set the exposure down here with something and see what kind of difference we can get out of that. Okay, so here's the next test. What I did was I let it auto set the exposure with this in the scene here, this big piece of gray cold rolled steel, and then I have a gray cold rolled steel disc here that was on top of the indicator, just to kind of shield that white there for a minute. Maybe I should have done it that way. Probably should have done it that way. You know, this side's a little shinier here. Okay, so anyway, let me take this out of the scene here. And okay, so this is not looking bad here. It's a little dark. It's a little dark, but certainly workable. And then we got our neutral density here that we're trying. Okay, so I'm sweeping there, and I don't know. So I'm out of my depth here with this stuff a little bit, and I certainly know that is overexposing it, and we're getting some glare off of that. Now let me grab something else here. A lot of guys have talked about polarizing filters. Okay, so this has limited effect. I've played around with these. I'm going to slip this on here. Okay, so I've just slipped it over the lens, and basically you know, I'm rotating the filter now. You can hear it clicking and see it bouncing, right? Me klutzing around with it. But although actually the exposure is locked, so maybe that has something to do with it. So maybe I'll put this on and we'll do one more do one more little test here with this guy. Okay, so we got this is polarizing filter on, and you can see that. So you can look here, and you can see it changing as I rotate this a little bit. Oop, well, maybe I have to take that off. Hello. All right. So the highlights are coming away and going away. And the exposure is locked, by the way, here. Let's take that out of there. And so the scene's a little bit dark, but, you know, it's not bad. It's okay. Totally workable. But we're just getting a bucket load of light in here. That's a little bit of a problem. So this is just a big flat panel here that I'm gonna okay, so we're in total shade there. Okay, the whole thing's shaded. Now you can see it, right? Maybe that's it. But see, now that the chuck and the work are much too dark now, so I don't know. Okay, well, enough of that. Okay, so this is my rigging kit that I've got set up for today to go move these two pieces of equipment. They're not particularly difficult pieces to move, and they're not super heavy, but this is kind of a good mix of stuff here. I always take some tools because you just never know what's going to be there at the other end, so I always take a small kit. You can take something apart or take something off if you have to take something off. You know, it's Allen wrenches, crescent wrenches, screwdrivers, a few things like that, you know, sockets, and you know, it's about 15 pounds worth. So and I got ratchet straps and slings in here. You know, this is tie down equipment here. This is my light duty tie down equipment. I've got heavy duty chains and chain binders for heavier pieces, but this stuff's lightweight, so we'll use these nylon ratchet straps. I always take blocks because I've been burned so many times by not having wood at the other end. And then I got a bunch of riggers wedges and stuff in here too. Thin plywood, the usual stuff. Just an assortment of blocks. And then I got a couple of longer pieces because I know one of the pieces that we have to move is on some skids that we have to bridge. So I got those. I got two furniture dollies. So one of the these are good for about 1,000 pounds a piece, around that. So the box and pan brake, it's about 1,500 pounds, something like that. So that'll easily go on two of those, and then we can roll it into the trailer. Yep. I thought the little lawn we may use, we may try these guys here. This is my lathe moving dolly here with the third foot. Or we may just get it on the pallet jack. The pallet jack's a pretty versatile piece of moving equipment. And then the other thing that's in here is some pry bars and a steering bar for the dolly of that. And then I do have a little a small come along in here, and my toe jack. You guys have seen that before. My toe jack that I made. So just kind of general purpose stuff, but that's what I'm going to take and gonna move some equipment. So I'm going to get this loaded up. Let's get it in the truck. try to do is drag it off of the forks. Might be a better way to go. Like that.
Drop it down and put the forks a little closer together.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit too wide.
Well, I can't drop them down far enough to free the fork so I can move them sideways.
Well, yeah, I think there's too much for it to roll off the radius on it.
Okay, let me just try closing the forks a little bit. Maybe we can knock them together.
Yeah.
Coming down. Oh, go up with a pallet jack too.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it's clear. Alright, there's the new deals. Dries and Crump brake. Blonde tool and cutter grinder. Okay, here's our two new roommates here at Ox Tools, and we've got a 48-inch Chicago Dries and Crump box and pan brake, and this is a 14 gauge capacity, which is about 75 thousandths thick material by the full length. And it's called a box and pan brake because it has segmented fingers which allow you to bend box-shaped parts because the sides of the boxes can project up into this area here. So basic operation is sheet metal goes in, sheet metal gets clamped, and sheet metal gets bent. Okay. This came from a guy I know at work. He's an engineer where I work, and he happened to mention that he had this brake that he didn't really want anymore, didn't have room for it, and so guess what? My ears perked up, and I asked him about it. Anyway, we ended up coming to an agreement, and this was $500, which is a pretty good price, and it's in pretty good shape, although it's got some funky blue paint on it. So we'll give it a wipe down, we'll de-rust some of these fingers, and it's got some nicks in the bar. This bar here is removable, so we can get that out and clean it up. And there's also a secondary bar that's an angle that comes out like this, and so we'll probably make one of those up too. And that's removed by these screws right here. And it looks like one of them's missing, so we'll have to figure out one of these screws here. So anyway, that's the box and pan brake. And here's the little LeBlanc grinder. So actually, you know what? I'm going to change the camera around and we'll get in a little closer and look at this thing. And I'll talk a little bit about this too. Okay, so this is a what's called a tool and cutter grinder here, which is different than a surface grinder, but it has some of the same features as a surface grinder, and it has some additional features too. Now this one has a cute little magnetic chuck on it here that we can put stuff on, which will be neat. And we're going to pull that off and play around with it. So the basic functions are it can move in and out, okay, this way with this lever here, and it can move up and down, and that's this lever here, or wheel, okay, so up and down. And then this has now it's missing the, there was a hand wheel or a lever here that allows the table to traverse this way. And this thing's got a pretty respectable stroke here. So I don't know if it'll quite make the full length there. Okay. And the other neat thing about this is this has power reciprocating, and that's this here, and this is the trip dog here, and so these stops will come up against that and trip this. Actually, I had it backwards, so they would trip that like so, and then this one would come all the way over. So you can set up a stroke so that it just strokes like that, or you can stroke a long stroke, or you don't need to use that power feed. You can set a hard stop so that you can come up against a hard stop and come up against a hard stop. That's what this is here. And this, I believe, is, I don't quite remember how to engage this. So this is a hand. Oh, maybe this has to be this way. No, I haven't fully explored this thing here. Maybe I'm not. Oh, there it goes. So I can do little hand feed here, and then this here is a rapid traverse here, and it's engaged here. So this is kind of neat. You can just. Okay, so next part that's kind of neat is the wheel head, okay, and it's double-sided, so you can have a fine and a coarse, or you can have a straight wheel or a flare wheel on the other side, and this can rotate 360 degrees. It's got an angular scale on it here, okay. Now it has a belt, so the belt runs down to the motor in the base, so I don't know how far you can turn it before the belt starts to become a problem. So obviously you can't turn it 180, I don't think, but you may be able to turn it up to, say, 90 degrees and have it still work. The belt's fairly long, so it can probably tolerate a twist in it, but I don't know. We'll experiment with that. It's got a wheel guard here. And this might be for some kind of dressing thing here, I'm not sure. It probably had two guards at one point. You know, maybe I need to find some literature online on these here. So let me switch the camera again and we'll get in a little closer, and then we'll talk about some of the other table features here. Okay, so this is the work table here, and the work table here can actually pitch at an angle. And it's got a couple of adjustments here, and I haven't tried it yet, but these are basically kind of push-pull adjustments. I suspect you loosen this, and then you can drive the table back and forth a little bit. It's got, let me slide it this way a little bit. Oops. Disengage that. It's got an angle scale here on the end. It's actually got it on both ends. One end is millimeters per millimeter, and the other is inches per foot, or taper per foot in inches, yeah. So you can do things like angled reamers or tapered end mills, things like that with this. Now what's missing here is there was a couple of tool rests here. One that you can index for flutes, and then centers here where you can actually rotate the work and grind flutes on end mills and things like that. So we might end up building some of that, or if I'm lucky, my little dividing head will probably fit up here, and I can probably use that. So let's see, what else? So hopefully you can, let's see, can you see that? Yeah, there's the angle scale there. And with these adjustments, little oilers, here's our trip dogs here. Table in and out. What else? I don't know. We'll pop around the back. We'll take a quick look at the back, and I think that's about it for now on this one. Okay, so here's the back side of this. What's interesting is a lot of tool and cutter grinders have dual controls here. So you can operate them from both sides. And now I haven't run one of these enough to comment intelligently on the reasoning behind that. I think there's times that you need to see from this side when you're doing end mills and things like that. So, you know, having controls on this side saves you some walking, okay? Got a little cover here. It's got some heavy duty cast iron cover here. So it's got some gears here. It looks like you can swap the positions of these, which may change the reciprocating feed rate. And so we'll play around with that and see how that works. Oops, excuse me, I got coffee burp there. And it's got a lever. It's got a lever here with an adjustment here. So I believe that you can change. It may have come with a set of change pulleys here that also might change the reciprocating feed rate there. What else? It's single phase. Let's see. Can you see that down there? Yeah, you can't quite see that. It's set up for single phase right now, which is no problem. Here you can see the. You can't see that. Okay. The dual head here. I'll just tip up a little bit. Excuse my shake here. Okay. So here's it's got another taper here where you can mount another wheel on this side as well. And this is the right-hand thread side here. So, and this, when you release this here, this will allow you to rotate the work head. Okay, so I think that's about it for now. We'll do a little cleaning on this. Get my my plugs in order here, and well, that's a three-phase plug there. So see how he's got it wired up, and get my plugs in order, and then we can fire this thing up. I did run it at the place that I got it from, which was Newman Metalworks. So